Good day, Legendary Joe. How are
Good
you
day.
doing today?
Thank God. We're blessed.
I have a very important question for you today,
Okay.
and I would appreciate if you direct your answers to Nigerian citizens that are in the dilemma of choosing their leader.
Hmm.
What is the first thing to look out for when choosing a leader?
That's an important question indeed, Franklin. Very important. If I am choosing a leader, let me personalize it here now. And I believe the principle should apply to everybody, every young person that thinks they need mentorship. It's not every time you have access to your leaders. Sometimes you look at them from afar. But you must decide from where you are who you want to follow. So the first thing I consider is the quality of his followers, those that currently follow him, those that identify him at this moment as their leader. Because a team is a reflection of its leaders. Yes, sir. The attitude of a team is a reflection of the leadership it receives. And we can cite one or two examples. Those that followed Awolowo will most likely, even if you didn't meet Awolowo and you met the Bola Iges of this world, you first of all assume that, okay, these are men that want to be identified by the ability to communicate their vision. They want to be identified by the depth of their vision, their goals. They want to be identified by developmental ethos. They want to be identified by progressive attributes. You understand? That is Awolowo. Those that followed him, and if you trace it from the Baba Adekunle Ajasin to the Bola Iges of this world, it is consistent with their pattern. Eventually everything that exists within a team's culture is a reflection of the leader's actions, whether actively building positive attributes or passively permitting negative behaviors. If you go to the church today, if you didn't meet Baba Benson Idahosa, Archbishop, you can get to understand how the man lived and his values from those that identify themselves as his mentees, as his followers. Baba Idahosa was one of the pioneers of what we now consider as prosperity gospel. And prosperity gospel is just them trying to prove, Idahosa at the time, trying to prove that poverty is not necessarily a feature of the church. Poverty is not necessarily the symbol the church carries. You must have heard proverbs such as poor as church rats. Because the church of old, they are always likened to lack. So Idahosa came to change that phase of Christianity, of ministry, and say no. He started wearing Babariga. He was the first to start using exotic vehicles. So those that follow that line of thought and consider Idahosa their leader, you will see that trait in them today. The Oedekos of this world, the Orishejafos of this world, the Oyakilomes of this world. You cannot consider any of them poor, can you? And in their messaging, you see that they consistently emphasize on the gospel's capacity to provide for your needs. After all, Philippians said, I will provide all your needs according to my riches in glory. So because of that pattern, those that follow Joseph Babalola, you may not want to associate excessive wealth with them. What you associate with them is deliverance. What you associate with them is signs and wonders. Correct? Those that followed Baba Oshofa, the singing, the chorus, you understand. There's a pattern followership represents that will point us to what the leader stands for. And the Bible, I think, if I recall very well, that should be Luke 6:40. Luke 6:40, where he said, the student is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like their teacher. That is the Bible telling you that influence shapes identity and behavior. Therefore, if I will follow a leader, I will first of all look at what the leader, what his followers represent. And today, even in the political sphere, as it currently stands, you can always agree with me, even if you are not partisan, that there is a followership today that is identified with toxicity, that is identified with violence, that is identified with promotion of hate, and maybe even cyber attacks. There's a consistent pattern to them. And toxic followership is really spontaneous. It is cultivated. It is groomed. Amongst that following today, you asked me what is the first thing I consider. And for me, it's foolproof. It's foolproof. Amongst those that, in that camp today, even as we speak, they have gone after our national pride, Tunde Onokoya, the chess master. The guy clearly is not partisan. I don't think he has associated with any political party. But purely being him and daring to be successful provokes this camp. There are few successful people within their camp, and you will not see them being targeted for attacks by followers of another political leader. In their numbers, we can begin to list. I don't want to mention names, but we know successful people that identify with this group, and they have been speared attacks by the other groups. But the moment you are successful for something, even when you do not necessarily identify, the fact that you do not support their candidates, you become a target. That tells me who the leader is. I do not need to go far. Are you getting me? Today, they are the same ones in the 2022 election that targeted actors. The moment actors come out, there was even one of our mothers in the acting industry, Nollywood industry, that they had to target our sick husband. And not once will you see the leader come out to say, no, I do not stand for this, I do not encourage this. So silence anywhere is what? Is consent. Correct? Now, crowds don't become dangerous by accident. They are licensed by leadership. Today, they are the ones supporting coup. Today, they are the ones supporting involvement of foreign and international countries in your nation's politics. All right? Anytime there's crime, there was a time there was an attack in Ibadan or Ekiti that he wants to say, yes, after all, you people didn't vote our candidates. Such toxicity is, why it matters is promotion of vices such as this is dangerous even for the states. It's not today we've been having elections. Politicians will go head to head. Many of these politicians are brothers. Many of them are in-laws. Many of them have business relationships. People do not know that in 1993, Shehu Yaradua and MKO were business partners. They were brothers. They became rivals, didn't they? But if both of them had lived long enough, they would have returned to becoming brothers. But followers would tell us the true identity of their leader.